one they're hated about.
And hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sportcat Show. Let me pay a bill here.
Broadcasting across Australia on Dare Media Group radio stations, this is the Sportcat Show, uncovering secret chapters, strange encounters,
and the occasional technical mishap.
And there's always the technical mishap. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sportcat Show. We are live for the next 2 hours. We've got two great guests. We've got a psychological thriller and an EDM musician. We are live in Australia. Everybody, please come over and find us on the Sportcat Shows. Join the live chat and get in here. Let me bring out my co-host real quick, Miss Queen Harley and Miss Queen JM. So I can't call one the queen and not the other one. I'll get my ass kicked.
I'm the queen on all my shows. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Well, so I know we talked a little bit before. JM, you're feeling better. Good.
Yes.
Harley's a workaholic, so she's stressed. So
I'm not stressed. I'm just a workaholic.
You are a workaholic. So, but for the next hour, we're going to be talking a psychological thriller in aliens. So
that's mean, Chris.
What could possibly go wrong? So let me bring out our first guest. He's got a book called Hush coming out, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about fighter jets. And how the heck are you, sir?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you. I'm glad I can actually see on the screen. A little while ago, I was thinking, what is this going to work? But the technology seems to have come through. It's good to see everyone.
I was going to tell the girls backstage beforehand, we're talking ET, so the equipment usually goes crazy when we do that. So
that's awesome. So much fun.
Yeah. So
be too easy otherwise.
Right. Queen Harley, that headset. I've got to have that headset with the little pointer. I'm getting.
It's my cat headphones.
I was gonna say that's got some style. Like, why aren't they making all the headphones like with some kind of funky deal? You know, that's fun.
There's a lot like the things come off to make them just regular, like they come off like that. But most of them nowadays you could buy have the attachments that go to it.
Aha.
You're special.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So did you buy the attachments separately?
No, they came with it.
Can you get the light ones that flash?
And they have some that are like double horns, and that's what Glenn needs.
Wow. Depends on what mood you're in.
Mm-hmm. I need the double horns for my other show.
There you go. So, MD, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael, MD, whatever works. I'm down with all of it.
I got JM over here and MD, so I'll be tongue-tied all night.
Yeah.
You two are both authors, so I'm just the dumb guy with a microphone. But you've got several books out, but your newest is Hush, right?
Right. I actually don't. I'm not normally a novelist. I normally write screenplays, so I write for the screen. But this was my first novel, so Hush is stepping into a little bit different mechanics, as I'm sure JM knows. It's a little bit different writing novel versus screenplay, but still at the end of the day, it's story. So fun, still fun.
So this is you intend to write, this is like the first installment. It's supposed to be a series or a trilogy or a duology?
It's supposed to be a series because there's just so much covert history. So Hush kind of covers your basic covert events, including Roswell, from about 1940 up to the beginning of the Eisenhower era. It also has a kind of a skip trajectory where it covers the evolution of the Malaysian disappearance, and that's I won't give too much away, but I have a lot of kind of tragic news around that event, and I kind of know from my different sources what actually happened, and it's not good. But it is in the book, and it's certainly covered in heavy detail. So something to read. But it has to do with alien traded technologies, and Hush is all about your covert past with alien traded technologies, alien transactions done with humans, obviously, and kind of what some of the main events were that occurred around that. Yeah.
I was reading a little of your summary there, and I was really intrigued because it sounds like I like those things that get you thinking. I like things with lots of action adventure. I like things with speculative fiction. So it sounds like it's be something right up my alley. So I'm excited about that.
I think it'll be a fun read for you. I always kind of go from the standpoint of story is king. So I love factual books when authors are like this. I went to Roswell and I found this out, and Jane said this and John said this, and they were standing right there when this thing came down. I like those, but when those books get into, and I'm a researcher, so I don't mind the books that get into 8,000 footnotes to kind of hammer down their point, like this has proved it. But I find that from writing screenplays for all these years that it's much more fun to get through a story that's exciting. And then if you want to go back and pull the curtain back and realize, oh, this where he's covering Roswell, that is insanely researched, because that's what I'm insane about research. So I have to research at the level that I literally feel and see the visceral scene before I can kind of splat it on the paper. So you can kind of pretty much guess that if you're reading Hush and what you're reading about, whether it's Roswell or the Cape Girardeau landings or whatever else that I cover in the book, you're getting as well sourced as I can get it.
So you were saying that you visualize it. I know that because I've never written screenplay, so I have no idea how that process goes. But
right.
As I write, I've always said that I see it as a movie in my head. And I'm writing down what I see, but you see it as a snapshot or a picture?
No, I'm like you. I see it as a movie. I mean, I literally have to see if it's a armed convoy with Eisenhower traveling at Roswell in 1947. I need to know what plants are out there, what kind of tires are on the truck. I need to know what engines are in those trucks. I have to get into the nitty gritty of every little thing. What kind of clothing the officers are wearing and what the enlisted are wearing. What
so
are
you
the smells?
Really in-depth.
What is everything? I have to get very in before I can, because I've been writing for production companies, and I've obviously produced a couple of movies and written and directed. But for me, just the fun of story is I need to have it based. I just find it way more fun when something is based in hard facts, especially if you're doing something like this where you're covering covert events that occurred and you're trying to piece it together, because no one writes the clear, excuse me, something in my throat, the clear story of what occurred at Roswell. So now you're piecing it together from a million different sources. And so I just find that the deeper I dive, the clearer the scene comes out for me. And then I can just regurgitate it on the page.
Yes. So compared to screenwriting versus novels, it was the research that you did was probably comparable.
You're right. If it's a historical piece, like I did a piece on the Black Panthers, which may be a series here soon. I got to meet Elaine Brown, who was, if y'all remember, she was the original kind of female figure of the Black Panthers when Huey got ousted and sent to Cuba. She became the head of the Black Panthers. I got to meet her in Oakland, but I did insane research on both sides of that, about the FBI, about COINTELPRO, and about the Black Panthers, and then wrote a screenplay that one of these days, if you get to see it, you'll see like, oh, it's massively researched, because I just love it. It's just more fun to then, at least for me anyway, to write the story when you can really feel like you're in 1969 and what people were thinking and how they spoke and the way they spoke and what clothes they wear and what was the attitude of 20-year-olds versus 40-year-olds at that point, because there's always a big dichotomy. So I always just find that kind of research helps me with understanding if I'm gonna then write Elaine Brown as a character, or in the case of Hush, Eisenhower as a character, I'm going to study every assistant of his, everyone who ever talked about him. I'm going to watch any kind of video of him. I'm going to feel him. I'm going to meet his granddaughter, which I did. I'm going to, or his great granddaughter. I'm going to know everything about him so that when he reacts to seeing his first dead alien, that I have a pretty good picture of what he's going through. Cause I like to write first person so that you're in his head when he's experiencing something. And I just try to give you
interesting.
Yeah. So it's more fun to kind of see it as a movie that way.
I guess that's a bit different than what I do when I'm writing. I create characters that aren't from history so that I have that more of that freedom.
Right.
But you still have that creative freedom. And it makes sense that you would research so in-depthly because when you're writing novels and such, you have to get inside their head. You have to know what they're thinking and how they're going to react. You can't just imagine that. You can't just do it through dialogue only.
Yeah. And then we have, with certain events, I mean, like, for instance, with Roswell, you have a lot of people who were standing there when certain individuals had an event happen to them, and these people were watching it going, he reacted this way. And then, Mac Brazel was there, and I saw what he did when they saw him with the military guys, and he was my buddy, and he completely disregarded us. Well, Mac Brazel was the center of that whole affair because of the debris that came down on his ranch and because he reported it. But then to have his buddies who are just regular cowhands say, yeah, we saw him in town the next day and he was surrounded by military guys and he wouldn't even look at us. We knew something bad was occurring. Like there was, they said, all we could tell, it was like, it just felt dark. Like he wouldn't even look at us, and he never does that. So those are great deals to then be able to write that scene. Right.
Absolutely.
You've got to have an encyclopedia hidden somewhere for each book.
It's like a filing cabinet.
I mean, the way I research, and what's wild is I tell Lincoln, my assistant, but he's also my dear friend, that normally when I write screenplays, this doesn't occur, but what has occurred with Hush has been really wild. And I tell him, all I can say is it's a committee that's writing it because, and I don't write with AI or anything. I write my own stuff. But the way this came together, it has been like I've been a dandelion blown around like the universe going, go over there and interview that person and then interview her because you're going to want to connect these. And the speed with which stuff was coming in for this to come together kind of the way it did, and the amount of information that I got that I didn't think I was going to get from sources that I didn't think I was going to have, I can promise you it had nothing to do with me. I'm just saying there's a bigger unit here, a bigger group that helped write this, and the speed and the way it's become, I mean, an international bestseller in no time. I'm not doing any of that. I'm a good writer, but the way it's twisting and the way I'm on all these crazy podcasts, which I love, it's fun to hang out with everybody because I'm meeting so many new people. I'm just saying there's something else behind it. Even now, as I'm doing new research for volume 2, the stuff that's coming and the people that are coming through, I'm like, okay, whoa. It's just, it feels a little like, okay, I'll do what you say. Don't worry. I'll be a good boy. I'll keep writing.
I was going to say, any 3-letter agencies visit you during this?
Fortunately, I haven't, but it's a good question, Glenn. I get that a lot, like, being a former combat pilot. And if you get through Hush, you'll see that I'm calling the CIA pretty hard on the carpet. I can promise you they're no longer an American entity. They're not what you think they are. And that changed quite a while back. But they are an entity that is being used by what I call the cabal, by this group that's above all governments. And I haven't received blowback, but I'm also convinced because of what's occurring on the planet right now, because of this big change that's literally occurring with a lot of ET races around us that are helping, benevolent ET races that are here, that are watching this unfold, that the cabal is on the run for a number of reasons. And I just kind of, I tell Lincoln, like, you just come from love. Cause I mean, what are they going to do if they shoot me? My book's already out there. It's like, it's only going to get bigger if they shoot me. So they don't want to do that,
Sure.
I'll let you know if I get psychically attacked, which has kind of happened a little bit, but I'm just coming from love. And I just figure, if not me, someone else, but I just figure if we all keep talking about it, like on these great shows where people's awareness are rising around the globe, like we're not alone. And not only that, we've been in space for decades.
Yeah.
You keep bringing it at the good level with love, and it's the message is getting out.
Well, that remote viewing's still active from the 3-letter agency.
Right.
I won't say much more about that, but yeah, it's still very active. And yes, you can be psychically attacked. And there's actually countermeasures to that, I'm told.
There's countermeasures, there's countermeasures to remote viewers. It's all been, MK Ultra never went away in 1970 at Montauk. That just moved to Diego Garcia, and it's been in high gear ever since, and many other deep underground bases throughout the planet. There's a lot of severe, savage, I'll just say bad stuff that has occurred to humans in the name of learning how to weaponize humans. Tragically, it continues to this day, but that there's a positive side to everything. I just kind of look at it like you don't get to stop evil, not just on this planet, anywhere. Evil exists for us to understand. Kind of maybe we want to take a different path, but it's I just look at it like you don't get rid of it. You can call it and speak about it, but it's not like you eradicate it. It's gonna do its thing, but we kind of need it. It's a yin yang of our lifetimes, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a curse that humans have intelligence and creativity, because it can be used both directions, for good and for bad. And it's a lot easier to go one direction than it is the other.
Yeah, just nuclear energy alone. I mean, you can use it for amazing stuff to change the planet, right? Which we are. Mm-hmm. You can also use it for absolutely horrific stuff, which we've used it for.
So, I mean, just look at any of the medieval tortures and you'll see, wow, people were really smart and really creative, but that didn't mean they were good.
Right. That's a really good line. I've never thought. That's a really good point, because I have certainly researched a lot of that stuff where I'm like, wow, they were creative. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah, just a little.
We won't go into that though.
No,
that gets dark.
The Vikings perfected it.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I've always been curious about. I grew up outside of Washington D.C. I've had a lot of people that were friends inside the Beltway and in for different things, and they used to tell me as a kid growing up near a military base just outside of Washington D.C. near Mount Vernon. I'll leave it at that.
You mean Arlington?
Well, my grandfather worked at Arlington when it was Fort Meade.
Because I went through Marine training right there.
You're Quantico. Yeah. No, Fort Belvoir is where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, you could in my grandparents' house, and I'm convinced to this day that both of them worked for the agency. That's another whole show. You could hear tunneling and people talking at night underground, and I would always be like, "There's something here." And as a kid, I got a little rambunctious, and I may have found some things, and was always escorted off the base, and my grandparents took care of it. Is that nationwide now? Because I know it's under that base.
Glenn, you are so on target. We're going to have a separate discussion.
Okay.
About Fort Belvedere in particular. I'll just give you a hint. A lot of the early dead bodies of non-terrestrials were taken to Fort Belvedere. Your deep underground bases began there. That base was a major player in the first days right after Roswell. Yeah.
Project Bluebeam. It was also called, was it Area 52 or something? It had another area name.
Yeah.
At one point in time. I can't remember what it was. I got it in my research notes. But yeah.
I had a lot of reading to do then.
I like it that you got kicked off the base. That tells me you were on the right track.
Yeah. Well, as a kid, I was a kid, and I was into scanner radios and all that nerdy stuff. And I would come home and I would keep logs, like write records. They would disappear. My radios would be reprogrammed. And I'm like, Gran, how did this happen? She's like, I don't know anything about it. And Yeah, we could
Wow.
have a whole talk after the show
Yeah.
sometime, because I'm convinced that she worked on the guarded side of Belvoir. You went in, you went through the one gate, then you go through another, and then you go through another.
I wouldn't
And
be
most-
surprised at all. Like to even get on that base back then, you would have had to been the trusted of the most trusted to
well,
participate.
not if you're
And there you go
done.
there. And but she had to have some kind of significant clearance to even participate. Not just anybody got to participate there at that level at that time. That base would have been next to Roswell, which was the only nuclear base at the time.
There was a nuclear plant on Belvoir.
Later, of course.
Yeah, nobody knew about it until much later when it
Right.
stayed.
But that base would have been one of the, other than Wright Pat, where a lot of the alien reverse engineered technology initially went. Belvedere is where all the biological experimenting was done.
Yeah,
on the dead aliens as well as a couple of the live ones. So that became a very important base.
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy things. We were out as kids one night, and we hear this boom, 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 boom. We're like, what is that? And then the street lights start dimming, and then right out of the center of the base, this huge blue light goes up out of like nowhere, and we're kids. What the hell was that? And then no power for like, I don't even know how far. Wow. And the next day, the Washington Post was like, yeah, a squirrel got in a transformer. And I was a kid, and I'm like, no, that's bullshit.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, if you're going to tell a lie, tell a believable lie.
But people believe it. That's the problem. They believe this stuff. So
yeah. It's easy to debunk things. Yeah.
I found a building, and me and my buddy, they took our film of our cameras, but we were throwing rocks while they were constructing it, and we never could hear them hit rock bottom.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were throwing rocks at them. I'm like, no wonder they took your stuff.
Well, no, it was a drone. We didn't know it was a drone, but they had a drone overhead, and when they approached us, we had already gotten off the base at that time. They knew our entire conversation. I mean, and my buddy's trying to make excuses, and I'm like, no, dude.
Was that in the 80s, Glenn?
Yes. Yeah. It was in the 80s. Yeah. So I got plenty of Belvoir stories. Trust me. So yeah. And
throwing rocks into the deep underground military base. That's funny.
Well, I did the one night I got escorted out when I was younger. There was this big like a septic pipe, you know how they come up out of the ground, but there was vents on it, and you could hear this, and there was a draft, and I was like trying to look inside of it when the military police caught me.
You really did piss them off. That's great.
Yeah, I had a friend that worked for
you had some great events. That's pretty amazing.
He was
I wonder if they're still watching you today.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they actually are. Yes.
Track that kid.
I have a friend that was a military police officer, and after he got discharged, he's like, I just want you to know, I can't talk about shit. He goes, but the amount of paperwork you had me generate because of the damn questions you ask. And I'm like, but you never answered him. He says, all I'm going to say is it's a bitch as a police officer having to back up out of a tunnel in the middle of the night with no lights on. And I'm like, oh,
yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's fun.
That was fun times. And we also questioned. That's where I had my first Bigfoot experience with the Mount Vernon monster. Right there near George Washington's base. The military couldn't catch it, but county couldn't, state couldn't. They had helicopters, drones up. We were convinced as little children that was something that escaped from Belvoir, because it didn't last long. It was only around for like maybe a summer, and then it was gone. And so to this day, I've always questioned that. I've talked to some people, and they're like, well, it could have been a Bigfoot that was mating. It was going from the south to the north, and it just hung out there, because at that time, DC wasn't grown up like it is now.
Or created there, because they were doing so many genetic experiments, not only on aliens, but on any other ETs that they caught. So who knows where that thing came from. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if you're right that maybe it escaped.
Yeah, it was weird, but this show's not about me. Show's about you. Uh, but well, I mean, it's kind of cool to be able to relate my stories back and get a little bit of affirmation. I mean, I know in the back of my head, but there's some things I'll never know. Like I'll never know if they really did work for the agency, but
Well, I can promise you that Belvedere right below from Roswell forward, Belvedere, Wright Pat, Kirtland, and obviously Area 51 were the 4 known hubs of where alien traffic was being moved via maglev shuttle even back then, so underground, via maglev trains to the different bases for experimentation and everything else. So if you saw a light come out of the ground from down below, that doesn't surprise me. There's been the same types of sightings from Area 51, which is also called Station D, the same types of sightings from Kirtland. So you just have to realize that when they're working on a technology, they'll farm it to the different deep underground military bases because they want maybe a different team of scientists to look at the same thing to see if they can figure it out. So, but you were at for sure one of the top, not just bases as far as top secrecy. You were at an alien traded technology, an alien reverse engineered technology, or a new alien technology that was captured is what they were testing at these 4 different areas. So yeah, your base is very important.
I want to go back now.
Yeah.
You can't get on now.
It's way more secure now. Yeah. Who knows what's going on there now?
I mean, we used to go fishing on the Potomac, right on the banks of it, and see all kinds of weird shit. I swear we saw a submarine in the Potomac one night fishing real late. I mean, I don't know if that's possible, but I swear we did because we turned off all of our lights and we were like, "Is that?" So yeah, wow. So I loved it. I think that's what's made me really that in of course seeing the Mount Vernon monsters, what's gotten me into this stuff so much. It's given me a love for it. Plus I'm on the eternal hunt for finding out what my grandparents really did. I have some feelings about things, but I can't say, at least on air, what I think they were. So, but I will say this before we go. My cousin was going through a box that he found on my grandparents, and she found her ID card for the bunker just for her. So wow. he calls me, he goes, "I'm going to send you a picture or something. If it comes through, tell me." And he sent, I'm like, "Where'd you get that?" And he's like, "I just found it in a box." Like,
that's fun.
I want a picture. I want it. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah. So, of course, that was a scary time for our country because, back then we were all going to die in a big nuclear explosion and, be vaporized. And going to school right outside of Washington, D.C. during that time was very traumatizing.
Yeah, I bet.
We had nuclear drills, but they would just flash a light and say, "We're all going to be dead in 20 seconds. So don't worry about it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thanks. So how did you start out? And obviously you have a military background, but how did you start in this? I know in some of the things I've read, it had to do with when you were a fighter pilot. You saw.
Yeah. So I was actually an attack pilot. And the only difference is my jet was a all-weather attack jet. And I flew combat missions in Desert Storm. I had gotten out of the University of Arkansas with a history degree, went right into flight training for the Marines, which is basically Navy flight training. So through Pensacola, Florida. And then I was selected for jet training and eventually selected for the A6 Intruder, which was an all-weather attack jet at the time. It's now been mothballed for a 2-seat F-18. But at the time, it was a Vietnam-era bird that was capable of kind of attacking targets, whether you could see out of the cockpit or not. The bombardier navigator who would sit next to me would paint a kind of a Star Wars picture on my screen, and I could fly to the picture to where the target was, and then we could, hopefully get back alive. So that was we went overseas in 1991. We were called to be kind of the last squadron to arrive at Operation Desert Storm. And at that time, I was the squadron intelligence officer. So I'm reading all the top secret traffic that's coming through for the squadron worldwide, but also just the general top secret traffic. So I kind of had 3 antennas occurring at the same moment. I'm leading to how I got to writing Hush and how this all kicked off. I say that I had 3 antennas because I was a little bit confused, because I'm flying combat missions that have to do with just regular stuff, regular combat stuff. I'm bombing tanks or any kind of military vehicle that's coming south. I'm attacking air bases and things like that with my jet at nighttime. These are all night missions that, if you remember, Desert Storm only lasted for 43 days. It was all air war. So we had like 2,000 sorties a night every 24 hours. 2,000 sorties mean 2,000 aircraft over Iraq every 24 hours. It was insane. And they're shooting up everything they can shoot, and we're just doing that stuff. But my missions were not about weapons of mass destruction. None of the top secret traffic that I was reading worldwide was about weapons of mass destruction. But I would come back to the officers' mess each night to eat dinner. And we had a CNN TV of all things in 1991. And I'm watching CNN, and it's saying, our American forces over there to save the world from weapons of mass destruction. And I just kind of knew right then, like, this is all bunk. Like, I just, the feeling was confusion, and this has nothing to do with what I'm doing. This has nothing to do with the top secret traffic. So I kind of knew there was a higher mechanism, and a darker mechanism that was twisting the screws of what was being shown worldwide, what the world was going through. Had no, there was no control from the American government, the British government, I could just tell it was above that. There's nothing that was making sense. And so that eventually comes back around as I did one tour as a pilot and got out, and I knew I was going to be writing, because I had always been fascinated with stories. I had always been writing, but I had never taken it seriously. But once I became a military pilot, I thought, I'm going to pursue storytelling. And then it led to writing screenplays, not only for myself and producing them, but then other production companies somehow had seen some of my writing, and then I ended up writing for other production companies. And that's kind of how I got through. But then during that time, this sinking feeling of, I just had a feeling like what's on the news has nothing to do with the planet. This is all because of my experience back then. So then I just started looking into our covert past, because I thought, well, I'm going to try to pull the curtain back on what I think really happened. And that's what led to writing Hush. So Hush is kind of your covert history from roughly 1940, when we picked up our first saucer off of Saipan, and all the way through the Roswell stuff and covert events that some of them you might not know about, but I think you'll find it as a fun story first, but then you'll find out, if you do the research, that it's pretty intensely researched. And then of course, as I told you, the committee has provided sources that I didn't think I was going to have that confirm what I was already involved with. And then it was like, oh my goodness. Like, I just knew at that point, like, I'm writing this, but there's definitely a hand behind me that's kind of guiding.
How many, well, my first question is, and I'm sorry, JM and Harley, I'm stealing him. Have you ever actually seen a extraterrestrial, like, face to face?
I've never seen an extraterrestrial face to face. I did have a moment in high school. This is my great little first moment. And I never even thought about it until I start getting on these podcasts, and people every time now want to know if I've had an alien encounter. I'm finishing high school in Kent, Washington, which is just outside of Seattle. 1981, I'm a senior. I'm watching the Seattle skyline, and I'm listening to loud rock music. It's like a Friday night. I'm partying. I'm just hanging out. And I'm watching this thing start moving over the skyline. Well, by then I was a private pilot. I was infatuated with anything to do with flying. I knew I was going to be a pilot. Like, I just knew, like, when I'd see jets do fun stuff over me when I was a kid, I'm like, I'm going to try to do that. Right. Mm-hmm. So I knew everything about every aircraft in our arsenal. And I saw this thing skating back and forth, like, across the Seattle skyline, which my 20 miles away distance, I knew, okay, well, that's roughly 20 miles back and forth if this thing is moving. But it was moving at Mach speeds and doing right angle turns and stuff. And I'm like, okay, we don't have anything like that. This is messed up.
I saw something similar.
I'm going to call the radio station, right? I'm going to call in. I'm going to be like, hey, you know, right when I go over to the phone, which back in the day was a phone, right? Radio stops. Steve Slayton, my favorite DJ, comes on. He's like, okay, Seattle, stop the music. We're stopping everything. There's something over the city. And I was like, yes. He's like, we're being deluged with calls. And, you know, so then for the next 2 or 3 minutes while it was still moving and doing crazy stuff, and then it vanished way up high, like in a diagonal, and it was clearly above Mach velocities. I mean, there were helicopters that you could see barely moving and a jet kind of, you know, bleeping its lights. This thing was just going nuts, right? And then it turns out, thousands of people saw it and were calling in and saying, there's something over the city right now. And I was like, well, I don't know what it is, but I know that's not from here. So that was my first, like, okay. But I never, you know, at that point in your life, I'm 18. I didn't even know I was going to be going to flight school at that point. I was in flight training privately, but I didn't know I was going to get through college and actually make it through flight training. You never know, right? I was just amazed that there was something cool over the city doing crazy aerodynamics that I didn't think were possible. Yeah.
You know, now that nobody would notice. They're too buried in their phone.
Right.
I think that's
too much light pollution.
That's right.
I saw something similar when I was coming home one time. I was up in northern Alberta, and I saw something similar. It's like almost exactly but it was dark at night, and there wasn't a lot of light because the city wasn't that big at the time. And it was like this light, and it was zipping around the sky, and I thought, that's cool. Go inside.
Yeah.
Didn't even stop to think about beyond. That's
right.
cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's kind of overwhelming, but then you're like, but I can't do anything with it. I can't contact them. I don't know what it is. It's just a light. It's cool. But if I tell anybody, they're just going to look at me sideways like, whatever, you know, pass the beer.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't really do much with it. You can tell people about it. They'll be like, yeah, whatever. Okay.
That's the fun of where Harley went. That's the fun of hunting Bigfoot. You can be out in the woods and have the greatest adventure, and then come tell somebody, and they're like, "Yeah, whatever."
Right.
I was there.
And you write a book.
You can write a book. Yeah.
Yeah. How many? I don't know what I want to call them. How many cultures? How many beings? How many do you think there are of different races? That's, I guess, best word.
Oh my! I think it's. No, this is talking with secret space program personnel, talking and watching interviews and reading interviews of every single malevolent or benevolent abduction throughout time that I can get my hands on, kind of understanding how many races have been seen. And all I can say is, as vast as Earth is with its races, its factions, its different colored people, its different looking people, its different heights of people, sizes, Samoans to us dinky Americans, et cetera, not that one is better than another. I'm just saying that of all the crazy stuff that you see on the planet, the multiverse, just take it to the nth degree. There are, I'm assuming, trillions of species, races, et cetera, from secret space program personnel alone. If you haven't seen Cosmic Disclosure with Randy Kramer talking about doing security on Jupiter with the ambassador for a group that's arriving to Jupiter to where alien races meet to do transactional deals. Everybody has an agenda. Everybody wants something for their planet from another planet. Everybody's got cents on the dollar that they can make cheaper. So there's all of these transactions going on, and one of the safe places to do it where you can't be attacked is at a, basically think of it as like a he said the room is a mile square with 80-foot tall windows that look out onto Jupiter itself. And he said that he describes in detail arriving on a shuttle where they have to go through all these security measures because everybody from all these different species want to feel safe if they're going to go into, they want to know that they're not going to get blown up by their rivals. So the space station itself is cloaked until you get like within 17 miles, and then they have to go through several security kind of he kind of refers to them as like bulletproof glass that you get up to and your shuttle can't see through it, and then you're allowed through once the shuttle has been scanned and identified of who's on it. All these security protocols, and then once they arrive, and I'm saying all this to get to your question, Glenn, of species. I'm giving you the nutshell. Pay your $8, get on Gaia, listen to every friggin' Cosmic Disclosure, especially if it's got Randy Kramer. I'm telling you, David Adair, Randy Kramer, Emery Smith, Tactical Tim, who worked with the covert operations in Germany. I'm telling you, they are the real deal. Every bit of what they're saying. And what's wild is this stuff has been on there since like 2000. There are so many people in the alien space who are not even aware. But anyway, I'll get back to the story. Randy is doing security for a group going on into this huge, basically it's just a meeting hall. I tend to see it like this big checkerboard, but it has 80-foot windows and it's a mile.
Wow.
And he said it's full of literally little sections where there's a table and he's like, there'll be a 25-foot tall human looking thing across from a thing that's encased in water in a cubicle, and they're having a discussion because that aquatic race provides something that the big human race wants, or vice versa. And he's like, it's so intense that the first time we went in, we had to go through a protocol of literally staring for like 30, we get to stare for like 30 to 45 seconds. And then we have to go sit and look kind of like at our feet, because the brain can't handle all the different figures that we're seeing and all the entities. Like the brain fries, it wants to see humanoids. It wants to see roughly humanoids. He's like 5-star, you get the head and the 2 arms and the 2 legs, you get the little star. And he's like, when you don't get that, you just don't realize how overwhelmed you are. So the guy who was kind of leading the show would say, okay, I want you guys to come in. We're all going to sit on a couch, look out. And he's like, this shit going by. He's like, you're just overwhelmed, and your brain is trying to group going, okay, yeah, I'm looking at every friggin' race that's, oh my God. And then he's like, you just have to turn away and you look down and he's like, it's a 30-minute process to kind of cool down. And then you're like, the guy kind of instructs you, when you go out this time, try not to look all around, just roughly stay in your area. He's like, eventually over time, you'll be fine. But just think, you don't make that up, right? If you're Randy Kramer, you don't make that up. You make that up because you just lived it, because it's just too much. Like, who thinks of that your brain can't handle all of the species you're seeing? And he's like, and there are discussions going on with sound and with light and there's light beings and multidimensional beings, and there's compartments that they teleport in. So the aquatic being is not in its container until the other ET arrives and sits down. Then once that ET arrives, a signal is given, and the aquatic ET is teleported in because it's already been secured off the outside of the sphere where they're doing the space station. It's been securely scanned, and then it's teleported into the little cubicle, and the discussions begin. And he's like, it's a mile. He's like, and it was full, and there's just all different alien races, ET races. And so I get the feeling, to answer your question, far more than you and I can imagine. It's like the planet Earth of saying, how many types of humans are there? Well, look at the 5 of us, or the 4 of us. He's like, just take it to the nth level. Aquatic, multidimensional, every kind of animal, frogs this big that are more advanced than all of the other races. They're this big, up to 4 feet tall. They fly around in their home ship, which has its own sun on the inside of it. And they're transported by the energy of their own sun, and they're so powerful because they're so ancient. They live for like 1 million years. And he's like, everybody wants to, and he names them. I can't, and it's like, it's not troglodyte, but it's some big long name. He's like, and they're known, like nobody messes with them. They're dinky. They're not big. They look like frogs, but they're bipedal. And he's like, they're so advanced that they've gotten to that conscious level where they just kind of move around and nobody messes with them, but nobody messes with them because they realize they have the Death Star inside their spaceship because they have a living sun, and they know everyone knows kind of like, don't mess with them. That thing is a weapon. If they want to use it, it will destroy your planet. Like, so they don't get messed with by the Draco or by anybody else, like the known thugs in the multiverse that are planet conquering hordes. This small frog race is, no one messes with them at all. And they're super benevolent, and they're here around us right now as this evolution is occurring. So, but anyway, to answer your question, as far as I understand, far beyond what you and I can ever imagine. Randy says, just think about the oceans and the molecular life in the oceans that you're not aware of, all the way down to huge living sea creatures. But then within the earth, which is honeycombed with civilizations, our planet, honeycombed with civilizations, we now have, I can promise you, special operations groups that are meeting with these different civilizations. All of it's coming to fruition. I believe you're going to have contact events this year. I think the compression has occurred so heavily right now that it's inevitable that this year you're going to have contact events where the planet absolutely knows we have been welcomed into the galactic community. Like there's just too much happening right now. I believe in the next few months, you're going to start having news announcements of, we are now using anti-gravity technology that we just came up with. But what you're going to learn over time is, no, we've had it for decades. They're just now announcing it. So you're going to have ships starting to go to space. Well, then when that occurs, that we're able to travel to the moon and back in minutes, then the word will get out. Well, we just received this from another race. Well, what's that race? And then that'll hit the news. And then we'll have a representative from that race, whether it's, I don't think it'll be a Draco, but whether it's a Nordic or a gray or whatever is going to come out. The point is that the disclosure level is just going to come out naturally. And the final thing I'll say is, you understand, whenever we have a conflict, just like Operation Desert Storm, we took all of these forces from all over the world and we staged them around Iraq. I don't know if y'all remember that from 1991. We needed boots on the ground. Now what's happened for the Cabal? This group has got all of these battle fleets that are working out in space, and they're using those to not only mine on other planets, but they want to move further out in the galaxy. They want to control more. So what do they need? They need boots on the ground, but in their ships. Like they can't steal enough humans now through this secret space program where they used to be stealing humans and cloning them. That's now been coming out. More are coming forward. Like I was cloned too. Like the stories are all the same. Like I got taken when I was a kid, regressed when I was done with 20 years, put back in as a kid, but now I'm having these crazy memories because their mind wipe technology is not working. It didn't amalgamate well with the human body. The Cabal is now realizing we can't just keep stealing people. The word is out. So we're going to have a draft, literally a draft. We have to fill the seats in all of these fleets that are already out there that are now kind of empty because they can't keep stealing people. So that's why you have Trump saying, oh, we now have a space force.
Yep.
So it's coming out in that type of way where all of the folks who are in the know are like, okay, well, we just tell America we're going to have a space force. And then a year later, we'll say, all of Elon's 300 or 1,000 ships that he's going to produce this year, 3 a day, they're not going to use fossil fuel. We just came into contact with this alien group who gave us anti-gravity technology. And what you're going to realize over time, obviously, is no, we've had that forever. You just lied to us again, but we get it. You want us to know that these ships are now going to be using anti-gravity. They're not going to have to launch with fossil fuel. No, there's no planet that does that. No planet uses fossil fuel. I'll just tell you, it's all 0-point energy from the ether. It's instantaneous. And so what will come out, it will come out in stages like that, where they kind of half lie and go, oh, we just, encountered this race who now we have anti-gravity technology. All these Elon Musk ships that are going to be 1,000 a year can now just launch right from the facility. How convenient is that, right? And then someone will ask a question, well, what alien race was? Well, it was the blondes, or it was the Pleiadians that gave us this. And here's the technology. And so that's how you're going to have it. It's really coming because of the cabal needing literally boots in space, so to speak, into these groups. They need to fill at a much bigger volume. And at some point you just say to humanity, who wants to go to space? Well, you're going to have a lot of volunteers, right? So that's what I think is coming very quickly here.
Yeah, it seems like I heard just the other day, Trump's like, oh yeah, we're going to come out with some information about the UFOs soon. So, well, they got to get rid of that Einstein stuff. So, which I think is still tied in.
It's all tied in. That has to do with the cabal and but you know, at the end of the day, that it's like we talked about earlier, that kind of stuff is always going to be there to kind of distract. I tell people as this transition is coming, try to go inside more, you know, try to get in touch with who you are as this, because the ET races that are out there across the board, the one thing that the secret space program personnel and all the abductees, whether they had a malevolent experience or not, if you follow the ones who've had lifelong experiences, whether they were good or not, they all kind of say, you know, at the end of the day, the ETs kind of revere us, because when we step into what our potential is, and that's why the malevolent ones are here, because they fear what we're about to do, which is right now. When we step into ourselves kind of as love beings, we are kind of unstoppable. Like that, for the force of love, it is the universe, right? We're all connected. And our juice, you have to remember, a lot of alien races have no emotions. They don't even understand what emotions are. The Greys don't, for instance. The reptilians don't. And those happen to be two of the malevolent races that have manipulated since before we arrived on the planet, as well as a lot of the blondes. There's a lot of research that says they kind of came here to control us before what's occurring right now, before us stepping into what we can really be. Because as we do that, we are literally, when humanity steps into what we are, we're unstoppable. And that's what they feared. And that's why all of this is coming about, and is coming about right now.
Wow. Is the Gold Dome to protect us from Russia or them?
I think the Gold Dome is another like 3-eye Atlas distraction. I try to tell everybody, like, the news is going to get crazier for the next few months, and it's going to get more violent. And I'm trying to tell people, like, try to turn off CNN, try to turn off Facebook and Instagram. If you're just scrolling because every fourth reel is violent, is fear-based, is something violent, even if it's animals fighting, it's just stuff that makes you feel angst, right? You feel something, you feel unsettled. And I'm trying to tell people, like, if you can just turn it off for 5 minutes and push people away for a little bit and go inside with your heart, not here. Don't try to get this quiet. This won't quiet down. I can promise you. I tried that for years. But if you just open your heart, it is amazing. If you just try to sense yourself with an open heart and how grand you really are, this will quiet down quickly. And allow your brain to just be the interpreter of what your heart is picking up when it's big and open. I'm telling you from experience, molecular changes occur very rapidly. And you sense yourself walking kind of a new path if you're walking, leading with your heart. And all of the ET races continuously through various channels say, when you guys get together at that level, when you're stepping out from your heart, when you reach a critical mass, the planet, the universe, it's all kind of focused around humans right now for a number of reasons because of what you're about to be. And I'm just saying, you have the power. It's all here. Everything you've wanted is accessible. Try to turn off everything outside for a little bit and try this and see what happens. It's been a big change for me. I can tell you that.
Okay. Wow. Um,
Yeah.
this is
Wow.
deep.
I
A
know.
lot, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
and I could probably have you for 3 hours. Um, last question, and then we got to get to your paranormal story, if you
Sure.
have. Do you think? And I've always wondered about this. The whatever you want to call it, contact, the reveal. Do you think it will crash Christianity?
No. Everyone's included in the transition, and remember, it's kind of like, I'll try to make it a simple example. Everybody has different ways. It's like Rumi says, there's a million ways to kneel and kiss the ground, right? Some people pick up a musical instrument and they play, and that's how they give back. That's how they give love. Some people get quiet and they light a little sage like me. Some people have to walk in nature. And the same with some people need to read a biblical passage. And what all religions will find is that everything that's in the Quran, everything in the Bible, all of it is valid. Jesus is valid. Buddha is valid. Why? Because at the end of the day, they're all saying, Amanda Myanmar, the women, everyone, they're all saying the same thing. It's within, right? They say the kingdom of heaven, or I say the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't matter. They're all saying the exact same message. Like, if you go inside, all of the stuff that you're riled up about from the outside will ease. And you'll find that this garden gives you sustenance, and not only gives you sustenance, then begins to expand. And then your capabilities, your actual potential starts to get remembered, because we've been taken down pretty hard by these groups who have been trying to control us. But they're literally not able to stay on the planet as we all step forward into our heart space and literally come together. I'll just end with this. They are teaching secret space program personnel in platoon size units, taking them to Venus. You can breathe on Venus. And the Venusians are teaching them to fight with love. Think about that. And they send, again, it's on Gaia. I think Michael Jaco talks about it. He's a former SEAL Team 6. He's like, I was there. I don't care whether you believe it or not. And the Venusians are beautiful. But he's like, they're teaching us to fight with love. Literally, we'll arrive en masse to meet a Draco reptilian group that we're going to have to take down or fight or do combat with. He's like, we have now learned that if we literally step out of the ships with a love vibe, he's like, I don't care how corny it sounds. This is the power in the universe. When we step out, a lot of times now, the groups that we used to have to absolutely do battle with because we weren't trained in how powerful we were. He's like, now they just kind of look at us and they're picking up on what we're bringing, which is, we'll fight you if you want a piece of us. Do you want a piece of us? Because we're coming from love. He said, we literally have some groups now that just kind of go, okay, we're good. We're going to put the weapons down. He's like, they'll surrender to us because of the power of what humans can bring. So I'm just saying, that's every human.
Wow.
That's cool.
Right. That is incredible. We're going to have to get you to come back.
For sure. Yeah. We'll make it happen.
For an hour. So yeah, we're going to have to get you back. And I'm probably and Harley, by the way, she said that they were having internet and electrical.
Yeah.
So I think we scared her, but no, she's got kids and stuff too. So she's got to take care of them if the power and net goes out.
Sure.
We have a huge audience in Australia. So I want to make sure, and they're listening right now. I want to make sure that you get out the info on how to get in touch with you, how to buy your books, and if they want to just contact you and say, hey, I had something weird happen.
Yeah, so they can go to mdselig.com, which is just my website. Certainly, Hush is available on Amazon and also on Audible. And I think Instagram, I have to check in with my marketing team because I don't do all this stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's at real.mdselig on Instagram, at real.mdselig on Instagram, but it's mdselig.com in general. And like I said, Amazon, you can get the Audible or the regular books. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. And if you do, please give a review, because it brings this conversation to a wider audience, and it's certainly doing well. It's become an international bestseller, but I think it's because I think people are realizing that it's pretty thinly veiled facts that I'm trying to put out about what your actual reality might be right now. So hopefully it'll be a fun read for you.
Okay.
And
I'm looking forward to it for
and
sure.
And Glenn and JM, it's been so fun to hang out with you guys. It's been an honor to be on your show.
It has. Yeah, and all that'll be in the show notes. Probably not tonight, but tomorrow.
No
I'll get
problem.
all the show notes for you, and I will message you, and we'll schedule again in
Sure.
I don't know, April or something. So
Look
we'll
forward.
work it out. All right. Well, have a great night. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Y'all have a
Thank
great
you.
night. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow, that went by quick.
Yes,
That went
it
by.
did.
Well, as everybody knows, hold on, I gotta push a button here and pay some bills. Where's my button? Where's my button? Here we go.
Broadcasting across Australia on Dare Media Group radio stations, this is the Sportcat Show, uncovering secret chapters, strange encounters,
and the occasional technical mishap.
All kinds of mishaps. All right, everybody knows we are live in Australia and on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Please come over to the Sportcat shows and join the chat. We always have two guests, and tonight is no different. I have been trying to get this young lady to come on for a while. If you're into EDM music, which is dance music, uplifting, great stuff, you've probably heard of Leah Culver, and she's going to come on here and tell us all about herself, her music, and yeah, we'll just have a good time. Let me bring her out here. Hello, Leah. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I've been hoping to get you for a while because I'm a fan of your music.
Oh, thank you.
And you transmit such love and light as well. So I think you've got great messaging. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know all about you, but tell our fans about yourself.
Well, first, thank you so much for being someone who supports my music. It's everything to me. I'm an artist from Atlanta. I came from alternative music, fell into EDM and singing, and I'm just grateful to get to do what I love to do.
Wow.
It's always magical when you can do that, right? Turn a passion into something that you can share with the rest of the world.
Absolutely. Such a blessing. Very grateful.
And did you know you were always going to do it? Because some people knew they were going to be writers, musicians, or...
I have a theory that, people come to the planet with some type of purpose. And I've always been singing. When I felt something, if it was happy or sad, I was always kind of singing as long as I can remember. And I think some people are just songbirds. And so I feel that as I'm lucky and grateful that I am one of those people that have always kind of known what I've wanted and I've had something to chase and like an avenue to run towards.
And you kind of had some support too, pushing you in that direction as well, eh?
I came from a musical family. I've always been surrounded by musical people that were chasing what they had interest in, and I've always had a lot of support in my family, and it's another thing I'm very grateful for. I recognize that not everybody has that. So it's definitely something that I keep close to my heart and remember all the time, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely precious, eh?
Yeah.
One of the things that I've read you talked about is you come out with a different name when you first came out because you felt like that you would have less walls to overcome if they didn't think about you as a female per se as they did as per se an artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've always done music, but I came out in the EDM world specifically in 2011. At the time, and still to this day, but really specifically at the time, there weren't very many women in music, and specifically producers, women producers. And I think all of us women that were in that time period specifically faced a lot of bullying, a lot of pushing that created like imposter syndrome and all of that. But when I first came into it, I was very into dubstep, which is like, I came from like alternative music and metal music and pop music and all kinds of music. But in the electronic world, the closest thing to like that more heavier sound was like dubstep. And that's where I came in kind of swinging. And I was sitting with my dad and we were talking about like names, and the story of me actually becoming a DJ is actually really ridiculous. I had to come up with a name really quickly because I was working for an entertainment company in Atlanta, just doing emails and helping with the bookings. It was called Wobble Wednesdays. And this was in 2000, maybe 10, 11. And my boss at the time was saying, there's no female DJs in Atlanta. And I was like, well, I'm a female DJ. Like, you didn't know that? And it was just a hair too dry. And he booked me for Wednesday. So I had to learn how to DJ and come up with a name. And I was sitting on the floor and my dad was at the computer and I was just like telling him I need to come up with a name. And we came up with MK Ultra. It fit like the heaviness of the music.
Yeah, some
So
people.
I had never heard the.
Go ahead, Jan. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I had never heard of like the expression a cult following. What does that mean?
Like a cult following?
Yeah.
Well, that just means having really, really great fans and people that support you. There's like levels to fans. There's people just discovering you and it's exciting, and then it goes all the way on the spectrum to super fans. Those are the people who are going to fly across the country for your show, buy your merch and all the things. And I think a cult following is when you have a lot of people like that, which is again a blessing and a beautiful thing because you can impact people in a positive way.
When you started out, could you envision yourself getting to this point?
I could. And I'm a strong believer, and I was kind of built to believe in manifesting. My entire upbringing was based around the mind and your reality and creating your reality with your mind in every aspect. And so I've always been kind of raised, trained to be that way. And so to answer your question, there was a lot of visualization and a lot of knowing that it will happen and letting it go. And I've used that forever. Mm-hmm.
And even though where you're at now, a lot of people would be envious of where you're at, but do you still struggle with that imposter syndrome that you were talking about?
I think the truth is that, and this is coming from an artist that knows artists of all levels, I see imposter syndrome in everybody that I know. Yeah. People you'd be shocked to think, and I think to some degree there's probably a healthy measure, but I think that lives in people in every industry.
Maybe it's like an inner programming to keep us humble.
Yeah, I think it's some type of internalized something, right? I can think of, for me, I had a lot of like bullying coming up on the internet in that time period where it was like less frowned upon than it is today. You'd get less backlash back then than you would now for like bullying a female producer and like questioning her abilities based on her gender. So I think I realized that I had a lot of that when I went to Icon Collective. It's a music production school where everyone was so supportive, of course. and I didn't realize how much imposter syndrome I had held up until that point, when everybody just assumes, yes, of course you can. We're all here doing the same thing.
Do you see yourself as a role model for those people who are also starting out and maybe can't, or struggling to envision themselves becoming something more than just where they're at now?
I hope that in everything that I do, it can resonate with people in a positive way. And sometimes resonating with people in a positive way doesn't even look beautiful. Sometimes it's the really intense, painful lyrics give somebody a home to sing them alone in their bedroom. Or if they have imposter syndrome and they see I can do it, then hopefully they'll believe that they can too. Because that's something I kind of live by, is if someone else can, so can I. So,
yeah, it's like paying forward, right? So then you're touching their hearts and reaching them.
Yeah.
I like that. That's nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, you had. So when you got past your imposter syndrome, is that when you made the change and you're like, okay, now I'm Miss Culver and I am on the scene?
I'll tell you the truth. And the truth is that I had a really big manager approach me. He managed some of my friends that were like one of the biggest artists out at the time. And they said, well, we'll take you on if you change your name to Leah Culver, not MK Ultra. And I had been at MK Ultra for a minute and was having a lot of fun with it. But so I did it. I made the jump. I made the brand changes, which is a really big deal, kind of. And they ended up asking me to also kind of leave the manager that had been my friend that had been helping me along the way. And I'm really loyal with things like that. And so I wouldn't do it, but I had already changed my name. So they were like, I'm sorry, he can't come on board with us. And I was like, man, well, I'm sorry, I can't get on board either then. And so I'm Leah Culver now, which is fine by me. MK Ultra kind of brought a couple weirdos around sometimes, with people thinking I was really controlling their mind. And of course I'm not.
Only with love.
With love, I hope.
Did you find that when you changed your name, did you have to change your branding or your persona, or did people view you differently?
I think that a lot of my connections with people, like just face-to-face connections, they knew me as Leah as well, so I felt like it was a pretty safe bet. And I kind of did a full brand switch up because it's very fun.
Yes,
it's very fun. choosing a whole new brand and a whole new identity is very fun. So I had a lot of fun with that. And in some ways, yeah, I kind of switched over to very colorful, and it didn't really hurt me too much, I feel. And then I've just ran with Leah Culver ever since.
Nice. Yeah, I know. Even in the authoring business, I went with my initials because I didn't want people to. There's some anonymity. I can't even talk today. It's late
That's
here.
okay.
So there's some anonymity, but I also, used my maiden name because I married into a Chinese family. So I was thinking about all of these things. Like I didn't want people to expect certain things of me just because my name.
Yep. I can understand.
Yeah.
At one point I wondered about choosing like a man's name. I've seen girls do that at the time, especially back then. But I think we get what we give, and I think that the energy we put out is what we give. So the quicker we can let go of imposter syndrome, the quicker we believe in the things that we want happening, the quicker they come, and they really do.
Exactly. I mean, if only we could see each other or see ourselves through another person's eyes, then, we might be able to overcome it a lot easier.
Yeah.
The self-talk is always the worst.
It is. It is.
That's what
like when you're tired, especially, and you're talking your reflection in the mirror, and you say the worst things to yourself, and they're not true, but you feel that they're true. Yeah.
I feel it's so important. I tell people this a lot. I think it's really important to be really mindful of the words we put into the world vibrationally, like physically making the words tangible in the world, because they hold a vibration. I mean, you see the same thing in the experiments where they're talking to rice and water and freezing it, and they're finding the water changes or the rice spoils.
Yeah.
We're made of water.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I tell my sons all the time, like I've got 2 boys, and I had the conversation with my youngest this morning. It's you cannot take back words that you've said, and words hurt worse than, like the old saying, sticks and stones can break your bones and stuff, but words can hurt a lot more than those.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah.
And that's also part of the manifesting. Manifesting.
Words are hard tonight.
They are.
Because I'm with you. Now, how do you I mean, you have everything from a rock guitar to a choir to a whole orchestra. How do you envision all this in your head when you're writing this, or is it just kind of fly by the seat of your pants?
Sometimes writing is full flow state where I feel like maybe we're all a muse. Like the way I kind of envision it is sitting by a window and your window's open and the ideas just kind of float by.
Yeah.
I think we're all kind of vessels for that in a way. So there's some songs that I think we're just meant to bring here, that if it wasn't me writing it, someone else would. And there's other times where writing is maybe selfish and cathartic. Selfish, right? Where you're not thinking about where it lands, you're just like as a singer.
That therapeutic. Let's call it therapeutic, like self-care, right?
Yeah, cathartic and therapeutic, and singing has, because it's vibration and it's somatic, it does lend a space for your internal to become external, which is, I think, a huge thing for me personally. And it also gives an avenue to give other people listening a way to like sing those words. So I do try to be intentional with what I'm putting in lyrics, at least nowadays.
Well, and there's some songs too that, you can listen to some and they're like, oh, that's a really good song. But then you listen to some and they give you goosebumps. And I feel like those songs are the ones that the writers or the singers or the players or whoever's creating those have really poured their emotions into those songs because they're touching some part of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you spend more time now writing or producing?
Right now, I'm spending a lot more time producing, and I kind of ebb and flow with it. I go in kind of phases based on my emotional capacity, depending on where I'm at in life with what's happening in life. It's almost like two different cars. You like driving both cars. They're both really nice cars that you love. And sometimes you just really enjoy riding the I need to sing right now. And sometimes you enjoy like the I'm not speaking at all. I'm just in a flow state with me and my instruments or DAW. And another truth is most of the times I'm doing both. Like I'll try and write a full song often each time I sit. So it's fun. It's fun to be able to do something that gives your spirit a place to flow with no external needs. I'm grateful for that.
Have you thought about venturing into writing like novels or books?
I have. I have a very, very dear special friend, Mesta, and he was at Icon Collective. He was my mentor, and he is so incredible. I asked every quarter if I could have Mesta as a mentor because I just knew he was a game changer when it came to like teaching you the really good tricks from like the engineering world. Because he's kind of the unk. He knows a lot, and it was amazing. But anyway, so I believe he's like a spiritual soulmate of some kind. He always senses me somehow. Like if I need something or feel something, he always kind of randomly texts to get to answering your question. We have written this story and script and audio book that we're going to turn into a feature. And the timing of him kind of coming to me with it was amazing. It's called Layla Madison Page, and it's kind of a psychological thriller romance. And it plays with timelines and timeline shifting. It plays with different parts of history. It plays with your mind's ability to create your surroundings, which all I think are parts of how I was raised, and him as well. So it just felt like this part that he kind of built in this time where I was really excited to get into acting too. So yeah, long-winded, yes.
Yeah. Well,
You were talking about, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that sometimes you're writing and sometimes you're producing. Do you find that like different stages of your life, like different points of your life have a different mood to them, and you feel that you're drawn more towards one or the other, and that influences what you're doing?
Absolutely. As a human being living a human experience, there's a lot of life lessons that came, and a lot of them were gifted to me with deep guttural pain.
Yes.
In one sentence, often if I see a therapist and I tell them everything, they're like, wow, that's a lot for a young person, without going into everything. But yeah, those experiences are such blessings, because they really do make you who you are. I know it sounds like what everyone says,
Absolutely.
but it's like I deeply feel nobody can hurt me more than I've been hurt. No one can scare me more than I've been scared. And those types of things, being true kind of gives you a big spectrum of things you can pull upon to write these stories to hopefully impact other people living those stories as they're living them now.
Yeah. Well, I think about too, it resonates with me what you've said there, because I've always thought about all the experiences that I went through that, they weren't all good. Some maybe are good, some are bad. There's a lot of bad in every life if you look at it.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't be me if I went back in time and erased any one of those little moments. I would be somebody different, because it's a trickle down effect. And as much as we would love to have, things go well for us throughout our life, it would change who we are. And who we are at this moment is who we're supposed to be.
I agree with you. I think
Yeah.
there's also like a blessing with it that I learned that I try to share with people, is that there is no threshold for how much you can love. There's
Hmm.
endless amounts, infinity amounts of love you can hold. There is a threshold for how much pain you can hold. And at
Yes.
one point I reached that point, and I just had to choose happy. And I remember
Hmm.
hearing people say things like that before I
Yeah.
experienced so many things, and like just choosing happy and different formats of the same sentence. And I thought, well, that's ignorant. They must not know depression. They must not know anxiety. They
Yeah.
must not know these experiences. No, but as someone who really like does understand a pretty solid multitude of human experiences, I feel grateful that I learned you actually can choose happy, and that's what I
Yeah.
did, and it works. In the same way
Yeah.
that that manifesting works.
Hmm.
It's one of the most amazing things. I've actually just done it again this past New Year's. Wrote out a letter to my higher self, um, asking to just like really truly put it down, put down the things I was holding for a 9-year karmic cycle that you may be aware of, ending mid-February, the as we enter the year of the horse and we leave the year of the snake of shedding. We leave a 9-year karmic cycle, and so I wanted to put it all down. And I say this because I hope that if anyone's listening, that they can hopefully, maybe this starts the idea for somebody, or like starts the adventure on finding their way to learning that you really can put things down, things that you think you'll never put down. You can, and you can live happy again. And I do think there is a bit of a choice to it in the right time.
And sometimes that first step is the hardest, but then you become stronger and it's easier after that. And I mean, the fact that you chose good means that you have an incredible amount of strength. And you should be very proud of that.
I appreciate that. I think we all have that.
Yes. We just, sometimes it's hard to embrace it because we can't see past the moment.
Right. Which is such a beautiful part of the human experience. You have to really sit in it sometimes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
But
like
you
said,
said
voice, yeah. No, I was
oh
gonna
no,
say,
you can
inner
go ahead
voice.
now.
No. I
Yeah.
was just saying, inner voice is what pushes you down so many times, and it's you.
Yes. Yeah, our inner critic, right? I know. I thought it was funny when you were saying, like we have this endless capacity for love, but if you talk to my 9-year-old, he would say that I can't love him and his brother at the same time. So I think it's just need to get to an age where you can understand that, and the only way to understand that is to grow, mature, and experience things. And life is the best teacher. But I mean, we're going to make mistakes, and we're going to have pain and suffering. It's inevitable. We need to learn from those so that we can become stronger, because if we don't, then we're doomed to repeat them.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, one of the things I was going to say, you were talking about you like to do it all. Well, when you do a music video, that's kind of doing it all, isn't it? You're writing a story, you're writing a song, you're bringing it all together, and then you're producing and engineering it. Isn't that kind of like that?
It's a lot of fun because it's all art, and it's exciting because getting to take what is probably coming from a true source of life experience or feeling and making it tangible, whether that be a listening source or a visual source, is one of the most exciting things I think a human being, at least a creative, could do if they want to. So I think it's fun to use the different parts of your brain to get to make things that are just living inside your dream world of your mind into real tangible things that can be viewed and intaked by other people.
I love that perspective. And whenever you do end up writing your novels, you're going to have this amazing world building capacity and character building capacity because of that.
I appreciate you. I want to hear about your novels as well.
She's a great author. Don't let her
nice.
say it. So she is. She's a great author.
I can't wait
a
to
lot
see.
of what you're saying resonates with me, because I mean, I haven't lived your life, but I've lived my life, and I think that we all have crossovers in our lives.
Absolutely. I'll have to get the link for your book.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah, because she's great. Like I said, don't let her sell herself short there. Now, you've performed with some big names. Were you intimidated with some of these people, or were you like, yeah, I'm Leah Culver?
I don't know. I see everything really like, what's the perfect word for this? I don't know. I don't see any of it like that, to be honest. Whenever there's a big win, I don't really feel it. Whenever there's like a big, like what could be seen as scary in front of me, like I don't really see it. I don't know how to explain that. Like, there's something that just takes over. I think it's a flow state. And everybody's just the same thing, nobody's short answer. No, not really. I was actually talking to my boyfriend about this today, about how, we've got like a music video happening at our house soon. And it's like a big artist that I looked up to a lot growing up, and I'm going to get to meet her tomorrow. And we were talking about like, are you excited to like meet one of like the people you really looked up to growing up? And it's like, yeah, I'm excited, but like there's a truth in me that's like she's just like everybody, it's like
Yes.
we're all just the same, we're all just songbirds, I guess. But it is so exciting. So I don't know, I guess because there's way scarier things in the world. My nervous system knows all about that, so it's getting on stage in front of a lot of people, or like meeting heroes. It's like those are the pleasures in life.
That's the sharing times. Yeah.
And speaking, you've had some huge audiences.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I get tongue-tied talking to two beautiful ladies, and you're out there to hundreds of thousands. I mean, well, I don't know if hundreds, but a lot.
I think something that is really important is to give the same show to the big audiences and the little audiences, because the whole point of all of it is to make impact in a positive way. And if and they're actually it's a mutual energy thing with them and you. You're pushing an energy and they're pushing an energy back. And that's really what I think it's about. I think and if you're not on the stage and your music's just playing in someone's room somewhere in like Idaho that I haven't met before, and it impacts them, it's the same energy. Music's amazing.
It's just you're having a conversation with one person, and that's what you're thinking of, and not thinking about how many people are out there. You're thinking about that one person you're having that conversation with, right? Is that how you're kind of rationalizing, or kind of like, so you don't become overwhelmed?
I think when I go on stage, it took a long time to even become present. I think that there's truly an adrenaline that takes over that, like really big shows, especially if you had to do a lot of prep for it. Something about those shows, like you start and it's over in a second. And if you have like one memory of it, that's great. Or it's like you become present on stage. I don't know how to explain it. I think that's a skill, and it took a long time to hone that in, to be really present and like slow down and be like, oh, I'm on stage right now. And there's like, look at this person, and like having moments with people in the front if you're that close to them. I think it's an adrenaline thing. I don't know. Something about it isn't scary. Probably the adrenaline makes it that.
Do you feel like it's easy once you get going that you can kind of just sort of lose yourself in the music or whatever it is that you're doing on stage? You can kind of just sort of immerse yourself in that and the world disappears.
It really does. And there's also a lot of pressure. So it's like you have to be very focused, because you could, like specifically with DJing, at least the way that I do it, you can mess up very quickly. And if you mess up even by like a little bit, it's really bad. So you have to be really focused.
Well, I don't think I could ever go on. I don't think I could do what you do. I am very impressed that you're able to do that. I did a presentation for grade 5 class talking about fictional writing, and I was tongue-tied. And these are like 12-year-olds, and there's only like 30 of them. So
Yeah, like I was saying, I get tongue-tied just talking to you guys, gals. So yeah. And when we so I was gonna say, and when we have big names like you, I really I'm like, okay, I'm gonna say something stupid. I'm gonna do something stupid.
No, nothing, it's all beautiful. And you can also become anything you want to be. Because like my dad would tell you about how nervous I would be doing like violin and things like that. I remember wanting to be a singer when I was little, and like my best friend was like just one of those like star singers when she was like 5, and she would do the talent shows, and I'd be too scared. So I don't know, my hands still shake if I have to do a presentation, but something shows up when I do my art and it saves me. So you could do it.
You said violin. How many instruments do you play?
Yeah.
I can't say I play violin now. I think that I haven't touched a violin in a long time, but I play guitar and drums and sing and play bass a little bit, play keys a little bit. I get by. Drums for
Of
sure.
all the things that you were doing, and you have a long list of things that you've done and skills and careers, and it just could go, it's endless. Where do you see yourself going from here?
Well, I hope that at this point, I hope that I can just continue to make impact. I think that as long as I do that, I can leave the earth happy. I wanna put out this year, I wanna put out an album, and I wanna make a sample pack and, work on some other pieces of art like photography and, just like other hobbies like tattooing, but I wanna put out a book. Um, I don't know, I just wanna keep growing. That's what I wanna do, just keep the mind going.
Yeah, I know my mind doesn't shut off ever, so I'm always thinking. And if I didn't write, I wouldn't sleep. So I imagine that you probably feel the same.
Can I give you something? My dad's gonna be so proud. Um,
Yeah.
I try to give this to everybody. My dad doesn't know that I tell everybody this after he told me this. There is signal and there is noise. There's always, in every situation, signal and noise, whether that be the noise in your head that is telling you in front of the mirror, whatever it's telling you, or if it's the gossiping friend that's like a little toxic and distracting, or if it's really like you'll start to be able to see it around you, noise and signal. Signal is the thing that you follow and it's the truth. And so long as things are true, they're okay. So if you start practicing following the signal instead of the noise, because there's always going to be both and you have a choice, then the mind starts to clear out a little bit and you start to feel safer in your mind and start trusting your mind, and you deserve that. So
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's,
of course.
I'd never thought about it that way, but you're right. Yeah, there's noise, and the noise is always there. And then there's the signal, and sometimes the signal isn't always as loud as the noise, but you just have to slow down and listen to it because it's there. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot more better an analogy than my grandpa gave me about toilet paper being synonymous with life. It's like you start out with this giant roll of toilet paper and you think, oh, I got a lot. And then as you go, it runs out faster and faster. I like your analogy better.
I like yours too. My grandpa always said, any day on this side of the dirt's a good day.
That's true. Yeah, I know when I go to do book signings or events and stuff, and people say, hey, how's it going? I was like, good. I'm still vertical and the sun is shining. So can't be too bad.
Let's go.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me catch up in the comments here. Chris is going to feel like I'm ignoring him. Chris is trying to be centered without the big highs and deep lows is a great way to fight off anxiety and depression, at least for me. Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah.
And it
sounds like you keep yourself pretty busy so you don't stop and so you don't have that time to stop and think about it. And then you're choosing the right, like, to be happy as well. So it's a bit of a choice there.
Really good story for you. On that
I like
tip.
this. Yeah.
On that same tip, as I've mentioned lightly, I've had a lot of life happen. I've dealt with it in every kind of way. But on the most recent life thing that happened, that really had potential to like kind of take my running shoes from me and my momentum and my everything. I was jumping back and forth like this, and my kneecap just went gloop, and
that tickled.
It tickled a bit, and so all to say that I had to sit a lot. I had to sit in this machine 6 to 8 hours a day, and there was just a lot of time to sit and think, and I couldn't be busy.
Yeah.
Which I believe everything happens the way it's supposed to, and it gave me time to really do some really deep diving, do some shadow work, look at the things that people don't typically want to look at that really create everything around you.
Yes.
Like the way you perceive things, the way that you come across your identity, all of it is shaped by so much that we don't really look at every day. And I had a lot of time to look at it all, and it was so unbelievably helpful. So
Yeah.
I implore anyone to break their kneecap and just kidding. I'm kidding. To sit down and look in, because staying busy, yeah, it works well, but it doesn't forever, you know.
You can't maintain that forever. And I know I got to a point actually this past week where it was kind of an eye-opener, eureka moment, where I got all my projects done and I'm sitting here going, okay, I'm looking for more things to do. I don't know how to relax. I don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
And I think we all need to learn that. So that's, that is a big life lesson. I mean, like, surely that should be a good thing. It should be something that's easy. Oh, relax. We all know how to do that, but we don't really.
Especially in today's world, where we're always chasing dopamine. Everybody's pretty much everyone's chasing dopamine. The noise, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that about the knee, because that reminds me, we had an athlete, she's a MMA fighter, boxer, whatever, and she said to like you, she goes, I think everybody needs to be punched in the face at least once in life. She says, because that makes you realize what life's all about and what the real pain is and what you can avoid.
Yeah.
She's so right. I was like,
do I get a pass on that if I had 2 kids without epidural?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
I'll give you a pass on that one.
God bless. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I had a kidney stone. I can't imagine.
Oh yeah, you get a pass on that one too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I got punched in the face.
I always used to think that everybody needs to work as a cashier. One of my first jobs was a cashier, but I think everybody needs to work as a cashier so that they can realize how, they can realize how to be humbled, because everybody starts somewhere and we have to build our way up. We should never look down on anybody. Growing up with autism, like I didn't find out until 2019 that I had autism. And I remember working in hospitals when I was doing my training and then after I graduated, and I could not understand why doctors were treated better than janitors, because we're all working for the same purpose. And it just did not make sense to me. And we are all human when it comes down to it. We all bleed red, I mean, unless you have some condition, maybe you bleed dark blood, I don't know, or light blue blood, I don't know, if you're a Vulcan maybe. But, we all have the same basic needs, thoughts, and we're all human, and we should never look down on anybody, and we should never look down on ourselves either. We started from somewhere, we got to here, we should be proud of that.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And where all have you performed?
All over.
It looked like it. When I was looking at that, I was like, you've been all over.
Let me rephrase. Have you traveled internationally and performed?
Yeah, I have, and it's always a blessing to get to go somewhere new and meet new people and see new cultures, and always grateful for that, for sure. And it's always so cool to get to meet people that care enough to bring you there, That's really a blessing.
Where was your favorite place to go internationally?
Japan.
Nice. Yeah.
Japan, for sure. How about you guys? Have you done some traveling? Where's your favorite places?
I've only ever been on a plane 3 times in my entire life.
That's okay. Planes are crazy.
They're terrifying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've not done much traveling myself, unless you count my imagination. Then I've traveled all across the world and beyond.
How about astrally?
I think so. Yeah, I did once, and it was interesting.
I think Ireland for me, but I only get to spend 24 hours there. It was cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a long story, but it was the drunkest I've ever been in my life. It was all the Irish's fault. They just kept giving me, try this.
Yeah. Ireland,
Chris, broken kneecap, kids, no epidural. These 2 ladies are.
Is there alcohol content in Ireland higher than it is in like say Canada or the US?
Well, see, the problem was I met some firemen, and firemen don't know when they're not invincible. And they had a higher tolerance than I did. After like 2 of them, I'm like, time out. And they're like, give him a cigar. He'll be right in 10 minutes. And
push him out of the way, let's just keep going.
I sweat alcohol for like a week. It was so bad. But the people there, the food there, it was great. So
I know not many people believe this, but I have never been drunk my entire life. And when I tell people that, they ask me, it's like, how did you go through your life and never be drunk? I said, I never had the desire to be hungover after. It just never appealed to me. I would rather be fully aware of what's going on around me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got all that out of my system when I was younger. I'd have a heart attack if I tried to do it now. So
just wait till your next life, and then you can start over again.
There you
go.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about it was brought up the Star Wars Cantina, about there's a place where all the aliens hang out and they all talk amongst each other. And have you done some work for Disney that might tie into that?
I am actually under an NDA and cannot talk about anything like that. But I love Star Wars, and my dad loves Star Wars, and I appreciate their brand so much. But have worked on a bunch of other things, and grateful for the opportunity to get to do music for things that aren't just like live music, like TV shows, or like set a background for a video game. All that kind of work really is really special, to be able to help create the world of someone else's dream.
Well, you've had fun stuff too. Disney's DuckTales.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was, I think they picked up Fly. I saw something about that. They, it's such a beautiful, fun world with how everything can muse and meet together. Like things you would never expect can happen. And that's why you have to keep your mind open and healthy. And something, a bit of a tangent, but I think it's important because I really discovered this to be true, is if there's a practice that I practice, I don't know that there's like a name for it or anything, but there was a time period where I was really focused on manifesting, and I had certain really specific goals in mind that were told to me that were impossible to change. And I was like, well, watch this. So I just like kept my frequency and vibration high, right? Everyone says that, but I believe what that actually means is kind of tuning out, right? Signal and noise again, tuning out those negative people, starting every day, choosing to list out all the things I'm grateful for, or we're grateful for, and just actually proceeding in the world with love and forgiveness and softness. And I would get on my couch every day, right before bed, and I would put my hands out and I would list out all the things I'm grateful for. And I would it's really the same thing as prayer, it's all the same type of thing. I believe that's why we're all connected, and that's, the God in us is like the all in us. And when choosing to keep your antenna, so to speak, aligned with a higher frequency, I deeply believe that the things you want to happen will, and they do. And if you're really specific with it, I've seen.
Nope, she broke up right there.
Can't have.
Yeah, you have to tell that again. You broke up.
That's okay.
Just the last part.
Yeah, the last part. Yeah, sorry.
It seems as though, based on my experiences, if you keep your antenna tuned to kind of cutting out the noise and being grateful and thankful, which is very high vibrational, whereas on the other end of the spectrum, more lower vibrational emotions are fear and grief, which we can't help, but I think it like keeps us a little bit more down than up. If you focus on the higher emotions and frequencies, I believe we can manifest some of the most amazing things. And that's all I'm saying, is that I think with that practice, you can kind of create your entire reality, whatever it is you want, really specific things that you're told you can't have.
I always love it when people say, "Oh, that's impossible. You can't do that." And I like that you said that. Watch me, and we have a saying. It's like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, hold my beer. Yeah, and it does, and it has. And without going too much into some details, like I've been told that something couldn't be different, and it did. And and I fully put it to that practice. And I in the same way that we can choose happy, and in the same way we can manifest really anything, I really believe that's the fun, exciting thing about existing as a human being, no matter what happens to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're talking about vibrations, like high vibrations and low vibrations. And I don't think that there's any bad vibrations. And I don't think, because I think it's all a balance, right? You cannot recognize the good if you don't see the bad or experience the bad. So you kind of have that balance. So you can recognize the one. It's a yin and yang kind of thing.
I think that you're completely right. I think they're both so important in this school of life.
Yeah.
All the lessons.
Chris says, I would let JM hold my beer because I know she wouldn't drink it. So
yeah, I'm not a beer. No, beer's not my thing.
Well, one of the questions we asked all of our guests, and we ran out of time earlier with MD, have you ever had any paranormal experiences, seen a Bigfoot, had a ghost experience or anything you want to share?
I've definitely experienced some weird hotels after shows. I had some pretty ghosty experiences in 2 hotels, particularly one in Savannah, Georgia, as we all know, is like the most haunted place in the country. And it was funny enough because it was like I was there for something pretty intense and heavy that I wasn't looking forward to. And when there was like, it was me and this other girl, and in between the beds, there was like suddenly this very like opaque, full man standing in the middle of us when there shouldn't be a man there. And I screamed because I thought there was a man there. And it just turned out it was, an apparition of some sort. And I didn't care anymore because I was like, oh, it's just a ghost. If it's a man, then God help him, because I will turn on my switch. But I've had moments like that in hotels, and specifically in the South, in Chattanooga as well.
With a man or with an apparition?
Oh, with like a spirit of some kind. And
okay. I was a little worried there for a minute. I was like, what?
No, yeah. But absolutely. And I hope that those spirits found their way to home, whatever that means, in whatever level.
You think when we leave here, we go to a different level, or I guess everybody's always trying to figure out what are ghosts.
Yes.
In some ways, I wonder if they're like, because yes, I think that I was kind of raised on reincarnation and like maybe lessons, but I also am a big believer now in quantum immortality and timeline shifting, just based on things I've seen. And in that sense, what I think a ghost could be is maybe another version of somebody else. Or okay, let me explain quantum immortality real quick. I'm not going to make sense if I don't. Quantum immortality is the theory that when someone passes away, and it kind of made everything make sense. It kind of made everybody's beliefs sound like everybody's actually correct to me. But quantum immortality is when it's the theory that when you pass, that say that somebody passes in a car accident, and their experience of it is that car almost hit me. I can't believe that didn't hit me. and their life just keeps going, but in the timeline that they just maybe shifted out of. It's an interesting theory. I'm very interested in it. In that other timeline that they might have shifted out of, their family has lost them. But in that spirit that is maybe just like in a parallel timeline that just like booped, because maybe their lessons aren't done, doesn't realize that, the car didn't hit them and they can't believe it and they just go about their day. And sometimes I think that might be what a spirit could be, is like almost like an imprint of somebody else nearby in some sense.
Kind of like an emotional energy that's tied to that place.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
living humans actually give off energy too. They can make weird things happen as well, energetically.
I mean, we give off heat, and we actually give off like an electrical energy as well. So it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they say you can change, if you're out in the woods and you got to drink creek water, and it's bad, but they say you can change it if you know how to with your energy. So,
I believe that.
Yeah, I do too. I've never tried it. I'm scared, but
I went for a hike in the mountains one time, and I drank glacial spring water. It was just off the glaciers, and it was high enough that you're not worrying about getting beaver fever or something.
Or the ice worms.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, but it was so fresh, and it was cold, and it was the best water I've ever tasted.
Right?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why that thought came into my head.
No, it's beautiful. It's so true. My dad and I hiked in Alaska, and we I mentioned the ice worms because I imagine he might be watching and might get a chuckle. We hiked in Alaska up a glacier, and we were so excited to get to finally like drink this ice water. We go down to the museum at the bottom, and we learn about, like, there's this giant ice worm sculpture, and we learn about the ice worms. And we're like, we were fine.
Yeah. I mean, unless you see an ice worm, I would be okay.
Right.
I don't want to drink one, It's like the saying, what's worse than finding a worm in your apple is biting into your apple and finding half a worm would be worse.
Yeah, that's true.
It was the best water.
Yes, it is.
Well, Leah, we only got you for an hour, and I want to make sure, and I always tell everybody, we have a huge audience in Australia. So, and also I want to get more of your stuff on my radio station, on the Thin Line Rock station, because
Thank you.
I played the one and it was a hit. In fact, I don't know if you saw earlier there listening or watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to get more of your stuff on there, but where can people find you? Where are you going to be? You got any big events coming up?
My next one is going to be in LA it's actually at a castle. I'm kind of excited. It's on Valentine's Day. It's going to be, I think it's called the Breakup Ball. I can give you a link to post if you'd like, or if you want to look at my page, it'll be there. But yeah, you can find me on all the things at Leah Culver Music, LeahCulver Music, and that's on Instagram, all that stuff, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple, all that.
Nice.
All right. You got an album coming out soon?
Actually, yes. I'm looking at releasing an album that I've been excited to just release all this music in general. And I'm just starting to formulate that plan. Like yesterday I started. So yes, going to be releasing an album soon.
Well, let me have it on the Thin Line Rock station. I'll play the heck out of it every
Thank
Tuesday.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And I can't wait to look at your book and read it and check everything out. Thank
you. I would love to have you back anytime you want to come back, because you've got such a positive message, and I think you can send a positive message to a lot of girls around the world, or ladies.
Yes.
I think that's important as well. So
yeah.
But yes, everybody go to Spotify and follow Leah, and buy her album, especially in Australia. So
Thank you so much.
All right, Leah. Have a great night, and don't let me get beat up by the old man. You know what I mean. So,
I do.
All right, sweetie. Well, have a great night.
one.
Thank you for coming on.
Bless
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. These hours just fly by. They really
Absolutely. Yeah, some of the stories and like getting to, understand somebody's like where they're coming from and their history and where they got from here to there. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And she's got such a great story, and her music is totally badass. So
yes,
I don't.
Agreed.
I was talking dubstep. I was like, I love dubstep. So, in fact, that's my get up in your energy song Skrillex, where he remade a Doors hit. Breaking a sweat. So, all right, I can't.
I'm definitely gonna have to remake my workout tunes on Spotify.
Hey, she'll give you some motivation. And the boyfriend in My Ex is a Loser. I'm pretty sure she kicked his ass. So, all right, JM, I need you to get a pimp in for your new stuff. You got a re-release coming out.
It's actually out. Yeah, I relaunched the first book in my series. I added some new chapters and new material because there were characters that didn't have a chance to give their voice. So I went back. Its release. It's got fancy new cover, not title, but you can check it all out at www.jmshawauthor.com. The links are there, and you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram because the links are also there as well.
Okay. And that will be in the show notes as well for anybody that's listening either on WZQR or WRFN. So we'll get that in. Next week, we have a special guest for 2 hours, a sport that is near and dear to my heart, disc golf. I know you probably were like, what the hell is disc golf? Is like my favorite sport, or to play, because I'm old and I don't want to break anything. And it's inexpensive. We have the gentleman that invented the sport. He has set the rules, and it's now grown where they've got a professional disc golf association. They have tournaments around the world. Colleges are now sponsoring collegiate teams, and there's talk about maybe an Olympics. So he's got the whole world, including an encyclopedia, several books, and as well as he's got some great motivational stuff too. So looking forward to that next week. I told him, I said, do you want to come on for 2 hours? Because you got so much. And he's like, oh, I can fill 2 hours like nothing. I'm like, okay, hold you to it. So next week we will have him for 2 hours. And of course, I hope you will be back. Hopefully Harley will either beat her kids or get the internet back. I'm not sure which it was. No, she was having some internet, and I don't know if it's snowing up in Cleveland. So she was talking about there were some problems with her internet and power. So hopefully she at least is listening. But so we got that going on. I will be back tomorrow. Finally, I'm done with all my doctor's appointments. They drilled for 12 hours in my mouth with a jackhammer and like.
Well, that sounds fun.
So, yeah, it was great. So I opened my eyes and there was like 12 people in there at once. So I'm feeling much better. I know. I got my eyes checked today. I got new glasses coming soon. So yeah.
You're going to be a whole new man.
Oh, well, no, they want to do the heart test next. Jesus. But at any rate, so I'll be back tomorrow from 2 to 4. But I want everybody to make sure to go to the Thin Line Rock Station from 12 to 2. I'm there spinning some hits, playing some music. So do that for me. We'll do that. And then comes to me tomorrow on the Sportcat Daily Gazette. We had a great audience. I didn't get to give as many comments into the chat or from the chat as I like, but that was because I didn't want to interrupt the guest's train of thought on some of that was so deep. So please have patience with me there. But everybody, we will see you JM, you'll see him next week. I will see you guys tomorrow. And everybody, please come over to the Sportcat shows, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, and show us some love. Leave us a comment. Nothing for the girls, just for me though. So No, that's not true. Of course, I say that and you'll get something, and I'll be like, I'm not telling your husband that. So, Chris says, "Have a great week, JM." So, and
I will. Thanks.
Buy our book. So there you go. All right, everybody. Have a great night, a great day in Australia. Thank you for tuning in and allowing us to be a part of your day and tickle your ears. This on WRFN and WZQR. Thank you very much. We will see you soon.
Go.